Yo, this is day 6 of ship season, and day 6 didn't really go according to plan. I woke up this morning, I had this idea of the app, already had the draft outlined and everything, so I went to Claude and I told it, hey, I want you now to build this app, ask me questions before you start building, because I want to go to the gym. So I was planning to be back 2 hours later, and then I just wanted Claude to execute it all in auto mode, so I could come back from the gym, I could just test it out, try it out, and make the video, right? Get it done. But when I got back from the gym, my computer was off. Even though I turned on my tension amphetamine, keeping my computer running, computer off. Not normal. So I'm like, what's happening here? What's going on here? Apparently, my memory was full. So Claude was consuming 80 plus gigabytes of my memory. I have no idea why. So I couldn't build the app that I wanted to build. I had to start cleaning up my memory first. Luckily, Claude could help me with that. But that made me realize, hey, I couldn't even see these files. I had no idea where the fuck those files are. And every time I started over again, Claude kept breaking. It just didn't make any sense. So, cleaned up everything and came to conclusion, I'm definitely not the only person with this problem. These are files that you cannot see in your file system. These are files hard to find, cache, other apps, extensions, plugins, MCPs. So basically, cleaned it all up with Claude. It really helped me. My computer worked again, but still every time I made Claude work on this one project that I wanted to build, it kept crashing. Claude crashed, the computer crashed. No idea why. So went to research again. Asked Claude, why is my computer constantly crashing? Please have a look. And that's how the idea came up for ship season day 6. Let me show you. So what we created on day 6 is the disk doctor, because it basically broke my Mac on Monday morning when I wanted to start shipping. But by Monday evening, right now, I shipped the tool that helps me keep track of my Mac so it doesn't break anymore. Thanks to Claude, I recovered 85 gigabytes in like a few clicks, and I don't want this to happen again. So I now created a tool, an app, that can keep track of my working memory and my disk memory. My Mac was crashing. Apparently there have been 7 crash reports. My agents were dropping mid-task, the app started freezing during long tool calls, and Claude was getting dumber overnight. I had 64 megabytes left of free RAM on a 16 gigabytes machine. And then apparently Claude made a file of 34 gigabytes in a 21-hour task that I didn't even know of. That's the task that kept breaking Claude. Thanks to Claude Code, doing a good research, checking all my disks, it found that we could free up 122 gigabytes of free space. This was all stuff that I didn't even know about. So it wasn't that Claude was broken. It wasn't that the model got dumber overnight. It wasn't that I needed a new laptop. And yes, trust me, I started looking at Mac Minis. I started looking at a new MacBook Pro because I'm like, I even thought maybe there's malware on my computer. But no, it wasn't that. It was the memory. The disk was 73% full, and even fuller, to be honest. 315 gigabytes used, 122 free. On the surface, it looks fine, but once it's above 70%, the Mac actually kind of starts getting nervous, and you want to have more space. And yeah, just couldn't see where it was. Then, the other reason that my Claude kept breaking was because I apparently had 90 different MCPs installed, and they all load per session, which is just very heavy on the computer, on the memory. I'm not even using those, half of them, right? So I did a big cleanup in those tools as well. I gave Claude a Swiss Army knife with 90 blades, then wondered why it was heavy. I didn't need all those MCPs, I didn't need all those plugins. I cut my MCPs down, I cut my plugins down. I asked Claude to fix it. So on Monday morning, no tool, no app, just a conversation, plan mode. We checked what's wrong, what's the heaviest stuff. First, we cleaned up the caches, like the NPM. Apparently, that was like taking on 15 gigabytes. Opencode snapshots that I'm not even using opencode anymore since the last 2 months. Another 12 megabytes. Codex archives took a lot. Browser caches, you know the drill. Tier 2 cleanup was we cleaned up the agent virtual machine, which basically was like resetting the Claude app. Ollama models got wiped out because I don't really use the local models. Like I said, I'm low on memory anyway. My video editor tool had 15 gigabytes in there. Kick it out. It's cloud-based anyway. And then Xcode. Xcode is for building iOS apps, which I'm currently not doing anyway. So cleaned all of that up, made 84 gigabytes available. And here you can see what took most of the gigabytes. Stuff that I didn't even know was on my laptop, basically. Now I realized it cannot be just me that has this problem. Probably all Vibecoders have this problem, especially if you're not a software engineer or a software developer. Clean My Mac doesn't really know Claude VM, for example. Other tools don't really check these. NPM, I didn't know it was that much, or that it saved that much of memory. So I asked Claude, can we just turn this process that we just did into a Tauri app? An app that I can run on my MacBook to just keep track on my memory? And that's what we basically did. We made the Clean My Mac, but for the agent era. And we call it Disk Doctor. Disk Doctor lives in a macOS menu bar. Like you can see here on top. Let me click it and show you how it works. I can see both my disk, seeing what is actually taking most on my disk. I could do a clean save, so I could clean the save stuff that can be removed from the disk. Or I can also see what's consuming most of my memory. Currently I have 7.3 gigabytes available. That's because I just closed my Claude app. Usually this is like towards the red zone, and it changes in colors depending off. A fun functionality that I added is that I can go over these circles, and it basically says if it's safe to quit or if it's kind of dangerous, do not quit. Currently Dia, my browser is taking most, but that's where I'm recording, so that's normal. Cannot quit that right now. But from this one panel, I can see what's consuming most of my memory and my disk, and then I can either clean it if I'm getting close to the maximum. I can also open my activity monitor, which is the standard app that actually shows you this, but I wanted it up here. So currently I have 42% on my disk available. Great, that's good. I could clean it. Not gonna do this right now. But that's basically the Disk Doctor that I created. 2 tabs, the disk and the memory panel I needed when Claude was crashing. There's a clear call to action. You can clean your save stuff and you can go ahead. So it's built in a day. Literally, I found the problem this morning and shipped it by the evening. It's built on Tauri too. This is the first Tauri app that I actually built. I learned this on YouTube. Another Vibecode live streamer uses this. I thought, let me try it. First time, why not? And it's actually amazing. I really like it. We kept it light again, the standard stack. It's an app that cleans Electron caches, built in Electron in a punchline, not a tool. Honestly, I don't even know what this means. This is Claude who made it. This is what I explained to you. So there's 3 tiers. 1 click for the safe ones, and the app refuses to clean a category when the owning app is still running. For example, if I still have Descript running, then I cannot quit Descript through the app. I first need to quit Descript and then I can clean it out via the app. Same with Claude. Quit Claude first and then I can clean it up. Something else I learned is that 100% used doesn't mean you're stuck. macOS uses spare pages for file caching by design, and the Disk Doctor doesn't surface the metrics. It surfaces your decisions, so you can choose if you want to cut an app or not. It gives you insights in if it's safe or not. It aggregates by app. So for example, if Dia has 4 helpers open, it aggregates to 1. Nice. And it tells me if I can quit it or not, if it's safe or not, green, orange, or red. And it will refuse to clean if you accidentally click on an app that's actually running so that you could potentially break things. It won't. It will refuse this and it will give you an explanation why. Same for browser cache. If you want to use this, it's uploaded. You can find it on vibecode.fun/Rick, like always, or on my GitHub, but the GitHub link is linked on vibecode.fun. I'll pin it up here. You could it's just an easy download. Make sure to leave a star, a fork, a like on this video. Let me know if you managed to install it, if it's useful, if there's any feedback. Happy to adapt, happy to change. And yeah, make sure to share your story on Twitter. Tag me at RickVentures. And yeah, this is Disk Doctor. So if you're building anything with agents, your memory could get full pretty fast. Sometimes an agent saves something in a wrong folder. Sometimes there's backups that start taking a lot of space that you don't even know of. So that's what this tool is for. You get a better insight in what's happening on your computer, even if you cannot see it. Disk Doctor is live now. You can download it on GitHub. This was day 6 of ship season. I hope this is useful for you. At least it's useful for me. Enjoy the tool, enjoy the cleanup, and enjoy vibe coding. Let's keep chipping, my friends. See you later. Bye.